Langsung
Hai
saja
Garuda
kita simak
fans, terima
bersama.
kasih untuk support.
Tanggapan
Sampai
kalian
jumpa
silakan
di
ditulis
bulan
di kolom
Oktober.
komentar.
Menyala abangku.
Indonesia and the result they got today at home hosting Australia, ending 0-0.
And, you know, I will say, much like the game against Bahrain, Australia dominated this game, at least from a possession perspective.
Gus, kalau kira-kira di Indonesia, kapan ya Gus sampai gitu Gus ke Piala Dunia?
Baik sekali sahabat-sahabat Garuda, bagaimana dari para supporter sangat berlimpah dengan harapan bisa bergemuruh dan menggema. Oke, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat datang dan selamat berjumpa kembali sahabat-sahabat Garuda. Dalam video kali ini tentunya kalau kita melihat dari pertandingan timnas Indonesia ketika tadi malam melawan Australia yang begitu digempur habis-habisan oleh The Sukoros, dan timnas Indonesia tidak bisa ngapa-ngapain dan hanya bisa dan timnas Indonesia beruntung sangat punya pemain-pemain hebat dan pemain diaspora, dan tentunya para pemain diaspora ini sahabat-sahabat Garuda berhasil mengangkat derajat timnas Indonesia ke level yang sudah sangat signifikan. Nah sahabat-sahabat Garuda, seperti yang sudah dikatakan oleh Gus Dur pada beberapa tahun silam bahwa timnas Indonesia belum ditanyakan apakah sudah 10 tahun atau 20 tahun lagi, belum, karena timnas Indonesia masih belum ada kedisiplinan dalam permainan ataupun dari kepengurusan. Mungkin maksud beliau Gus Dur dengan apa yang sudah dikatakan bahwa saatnya timnas Indonesia saat ini bersama Coach Sintayong sudah membangkitkan atau disiplin dari para pemain dan juga kepengurusan PSSI bersama Pak Erick Thohir sudah kita lihat bersama. Dan tentunya sahabat-sahabat Garuda, dan kita melihat dari tembok dari permainan dari timnas Indonesia tadi malam dan juga ketika melawan Arab Saudi dan tadi malamnya adalah Australia, kita melihat bahwasanya adalah tembok terakhir kita adalah Martin Paes, dan sedang bergemuruh bahwa tembok timnas Indonesia saat ini adalah tangguhnya bukan main-main. Dan semoga bersama Pak Erick Thohir sahabat-sahabat Garuda ini kita menikmati sesuatu yang sangat luar biasa, dan harapannya adalah timnas Indonesia bisa lolos ke Piala Dunia 2026. Dan tanpa lama-lama sahabat-sahabat Garuda, tentunya kalian sudah tahu kan maksud dari video ini dan juga beberapa cuplikan dari awal. Jadi ini adalah full video dan tanpa basa-basi, dan ini tentunya tidak ada di televisi manapun.
Gus, kalau kira-kira di Indonesia, kapan ya Gus sampai gitu Gus ke Piala Dunia? Kalau
seperti sekarang
ramalannya Gus, barangkali 10 tahun lagi kah, 20 tahun lagi?
Masih lama.
Alhamdulillah.
Bukan karena apa-apa, disiplin kita nggak punya.
Kemudian sana masuk Piala Dunia, ini pun mesti masuk Piala Dunia. Sekarang kita impor pelatihnya gitu kan. Maju sekarang. Itu cuma satu kalimat, cuma satu ayat di Quran, inna ma'al usri pasti bisa. Coba bawa tuh di dunia olahraga, pasti bisa. Ya. Kalau bawa atlet ini bisa, nggak ada yang nggak bisa. Bisa. Nah, katakan itu. Waduh, tapi ini mah lawannya katakan, tidak ada yang tidak mungkin.
Sungguh
bisa
luar biasa dukungan
bisa aja dulu gitu. Perkara nanti melawannya bagaimana itu ikhtiar.
Ternyata
bisa aja dulu.
Menggelar
lakukan dulu tugas, sempurnakan
bersama
misi
melalui jalur langit yang sungguh sangat luar biasa. Seperti kita timnas Indonesia yang gila bola. Semoga timnas Indonesia benar-benar lolos ke Piala Dunia dan kita merasakan bersama.
But I need you to tell you that I love you. And I play every time for I would say you know on the way for to me on the way. insecure. Stuff
Anjing
bless you to the day of the sun.
Alhamdulillah timnas Indonesia sudah mulai disiplin. Enggih.
Indonesia can take the throw.
Biasa dukungan dari para supporter yang tidak bisa datang ke stadion ternyata menggelar sebuah hajatan ataupun doa bersama melalui jalur
Siapa
langit,
yang setuju ini salah satu ya
Sungguh sangat luar biasa.
momen
Supporter
terbaik
kita
di
timnas
pertandingan
Indonesia
hari
yang
ini.
gila
Kita aja
bola.
ya yang mungkin penonton
Semoga
dari
timnas
layar
Indonesia
kaca, yaitu
benar-benar
anjir,
lolos ke Piala Dunia dan
itu
kita
kiri
merasakan
kosong.
bersama.
Woi, malah diopernya ke depannya, ke kanannya. Ini ya kritikan ya untuk Marcelino Ferdinand, mohon untuk lebih belajar ya ngelihat tayangan-tayangan video yang dia mainkan sebelumnya. Mohon untuk tingkatkan lagi visinya ya. Ini sekali lagi kritik ya. Ini kritik yang membangun, jadi jangan sampai bully Marcelino. Ini adalah kritikan yang harus Marcelino tingkatkan ya. Jadi kalau gue rasa itu Marcelino bisa ngelihat Calvin Verdong udah lari di sana, umpan trupas ya jauh ke sana ya, terserah sih trupas atau long ball, yang penting bola nyampe ke Calvin Verdong. Gue yakin hasil akan berkata lain ya. Mungkin 70% Calvin Verdong finishingnya bagus ya, gue rasa hasilnya bakal beda ya. Ini sekali lagi kritik ya, dan Coach Shin juga udah marahin Marcelino ya di pertandingan ini. Kalau lu lihat ada videonya di menit berapa tuh tadi, sekitar 60-an ya. Itu Marcelino dipanggil Coach Shin, dimarahin lah ya, kayak ya mungkin lu coba main efektif segala macem ya. Coach Shin juga udah ngingetin. Gua rasa cukup, kita nggak perlu bully Marcelino ya. Kalau menurut lu ini salah satu peluang terbaik kita atau bukan? Coba tulis pendapat lu di kolom komentar.
Apa ini, Cok? Apa ini, bangsa?
Sungguh luar biasa dukungan dari para supporter yang tidak bisa datang ke stadion ternyata menggelar sebuah hajatan ataupun doa bersama melalui jalur langit ya.
We deserve to be here. We've worked so hard to be
Sungguh
here.
sangat luar biasa supporter kita timnas Indonesia yang
Now we are in
gila
this round
bola.
and we have a beautiful
Semoga
opportunity
timnas Indonesia
to put our nation on the
benar-benar
map. Don't
lolos ke
forget who
Piala
you're
Dunia
playing
dan
for.
kita
Think
merasakan
about who you play
bersama.
for your family, for your country, for your honor. Then we go out and we kill them today, okay? Okay.
Siap.
Lagi ya, mudah-mudahan nanti National Girl bisa gabung Oktober. Tadi Pak Presiden bilang saya akan tanda tangan suratnya besok. Kita masuk ke DPR, kemudian DPR bisa proses dengan cepat. National Girl Oktober bisa main. Eliano juga mungkin bisa membantu orang depan.
Aduh bang, jangan kayak gitu dong bang. Kan lu baru aja login bang. Lu aja baru login bang. Kok udah setengil ini bang? Nanti negara-negara pada panasan bang. Astaga, iya lu bisa langsung cek aja ke IG-nya Milsilgers coy ya. Kita cek aja coy ya. Ya manusia termahal yang udah login ke King Indo gitu ya. Milsilgers dia nge-repost postingan dari Seagulls gitu ya. Sia Seagull. Pokoknya itulah akunnya gitu ya. Dengan market value 7M. Vietnam 6,83, Thailand 6,4, negara rumput sebelah 6,38. Buset, jangan kayak gini, Bang. Jangan kayak gini bang, nanti orang-orang sebelah pada kepanasan bang. Astaga, buset ini back yang bakal bawa
Sungguh
King Indo
luar biasa
juara
dukungan
Pilden
dari
anjir,
para
set
supporter
dah.
yang tidak bisa datang ke stadion ternyata menggelar sebuah hajatan ataupun doa bersama melalui jalur langit ya.
Kau ni apa? Kau tinggal
Sungguh
sini
sangat
ke?
luar biasa supporter kita timnas Indonesia yang gila bola. Semoga timnas Indonesia benar-benar lolos ke Piala Dunia dan kita merasakan bersama. Siap.
Martin Paes. Kau yang namanya siapa? Syed Dosri. Dosri itu sekelas Messi.
Messi whips it in for pass.
His first real look at goal with the turnover in the midfield. Just how quick they are now.
Kata matinya Messi tiap hari kok tangkisin penaltinya, apalagi lu.
Here's the penalty again. Dosri tried the double bluff, makes a stop.
Ini adalah momen saat dua bintang dunia Lionel Messi dan Luis Suarez mencoba menembus pertahanan Martin Paes di bawah mistar gawang. Paes menunjukkan refleks luar biasa dan keberanian tak tergoyahkan. Dengan refleks kilat dan keberanian luar biasa, dia berhasil menggagalkan peluang emas yang hampir pasti menjadi gol. Dalam laga ini FC Dallas Club dari Martin Paes bertemu dengan Inter Miami Club dari Messi.
Hey gentlemen, thank you. I know you giving the best you can for the 2 matches. 2 games, we got 2 points. If we want to qualify, maybe number 2, we need 15 points. 8 games to go. We have a win, China and Bahrain. You believe on that? Yes. You believe on that? Yes. Not easy, I know. Thank you for giving everything that you can. We can say thank you. Thank you.
Indonesia and the result they got today at home hosting Australia, ending 0-0.
And, you know, I will say, much like the game against Bahrain, Australia dominated this game, at least from a possession perspective. They dictated where the ball was going, how long they held on to it, and when Indonesia got on the ball, they honestly couldn't do much with it. You know, the offensive energy, that really fast counterattacking pace that we saw against Saudi Arabia was not here in Indonesia, unfortunately. But you know what was? Their defense. Once again, and we noted it in the last game for Indonesia, their defense truly has tightened up. Whether it's Idzes, Vrandrik as well, Martin Paes, they all really showed up. Rizky Ridho at the back, whether it's getting last-ditch defending stops or just really good shot blocking in general, they completely shut out Australia and limited them to very few genuine chances.
No, bro, let's remind the people, it was just a few months ago where we saw this same Australian team defeat Indonesia 4-0 in the round of 16. To get a 0-0 result the way they did today, I think is very, very impressive. And there's a lot to look at on both sides here, but let's just focus in on Indonesia. A big reason for why they got that clean sheet was Martin Paes.
Yeah.
An incredible performance. Once again, he had about 2-3 really good saves that they could have been goals, and he kept them from going in. And then, like you mentioned, last-ditch defending, just incredible effort all around. But I agree, I was a little disappointed in the lack of offensive threat that they had this game. A big reason, though, was honestly looking at the Australian defense. I thought Harry Sutar was massive today, bro. Massive. And honestly might have been the player of the match for Australia because he stopped every single Indonesian attack.
There's two things going forward for the rest of the qualifiers that I'm going to be watching out based off of these last two matches, and especially based off of this one. It's going to be when they face against physical teams. So against Saudi Arabia, you can outpace them, and it was clearly seen in that game. Honestly, Indonesia could have scored 2 or 3 goals against them if they were just a little bit more clinical off the pass. But against a team like Australia, they're not going to be as naive to get beaten off the pace. They're going to have better positioning, especially with defenders like Sutar. Even in the midfield, you have really physical midfielders with Jackson Irvine, Keanu Bacchus. So I was really curious to see how Indonesia was going to handle it. And ultimately, they really couldn't handle it. Their offense got pretty much dominated. So I'm going to be looking for that in the future. How do they figure it out against very physical teams? Second thing I'm going to be looking out for is just their defense. I can't believe it's tightened up this quickly over the last 8 months. It's phenomenal. I mean, as you already pointed out, 4 goals they led in the last time we played Australia. But this time, honestly, the defense was just as good as Australia's. And I think that's a really big important point to make, because that means they can go up against one of the best offenses in the region, at least one of the best teams in the region, and hold their own. So I think for Indonesia, yes, they weren't able to win at home, but the defense really proved the point that they can play now in these qualifiers.
Yeah, and when it comes to them getting on the ball, all I ask from Indonesia, especially when it comes to these type of matchups, is one, to learn to adjust to the opponent, because as you mentioned, you can't outrun these Australians. They're way too smart. They're able to body you. It showed today, but what I was hoping to see was Indonesia adapt and be a little bit more patient when they got the ball, instead of just wanting to go all out, full throttle the way they did against Saudi Arabia. That's what I asked from them, is to be patient, pass the ball around, slow it down just a little bit, bro. I looked up how to say patience in Indonesian. I get my message across. I think it's kesabaran. Kesabaran. Kesabaran, please. Take some patience, because I think that would actually help them a lot, because, dude, once again, in back-to-back games, they looked really tired by like the 70th, 80th minute, because they just try to put full energy on display. I think if they're patient, if they slow it down, it'll help the team, it'll help the energy levels. And in this sort of case, I think it would actually help them potentially score a goal against Australia, as they try to put more pressure on this Australian defense by possession instead of counter-attacking.
It also is interesting how far Indonesia had to travel based off of the first game. I mean, they were in Saudi Arabia on Thursday. Cut to 4 days later, they had to travel over 1,000 miles to get to Indonesia. Pretty crazy. That's just Asian World Cup qualifiers in general. Japan had to do it. Saudi Arabia had to do it as well. Australia wasn't as aggressive, as they just had to go, you know, a little bit northwest to get to Indonesia. But I do think, especially for a team like Indonesia that really relies on pace and energy, these travel distances might come into play in these World Cup qualifiers. So maybe get their points in those first match days, and the second match days maybe go for draws. I do think it's going to play a big factor.
I also think the Indonesian support that we saw was just as much as I would hope it to be.
Oh yeah,
it was insane. The crowd was ridiculous. One of the best Asian atmospheres out there. I give them their credit for that. That was incredible to see them play at home. My question to you is this then: with 2 Indonesian games now in the books, what would you grade their overall window so far? What would you grade it based off what we saw against Saudi Arabia and against Australia? Where does it land?
It's an A. Like, it's top notch, right under an A+. And the reason why I'm giving it so high, even though they only have 2 points after it, is you have to consider Indonesia has never even gotten close to this point. And you start off against 2 continental giants in Saudi Arabia and Australia, and you're able to go toe-to-toe with them, almost beat Saudi Arabia, and get a very well-earned draw against Australia. I think for a nation that is as inexperienced as Indonesia, they pass with flying colors. These are 2 very positive performances. So I thought, honestly, that they were going to lose one of these games.
Yeah,
like, for me, the expectation was that they were going to drop even more points in this window, but instead they played brilliant football against Saudi Arabia, and I really did think they earned the draw against Australia. Even though Australia played a little bit better, I think they deserved the point. So Indonesia going forward, I think, have proven to us and to the world, if they're watching, that they are going to fight not just for a 3rd or 4th place position in their group, they're going to fight for that 2nd place spot underneath Japan.
What about Australia? What about Australia?
Yeah.
This, I would say, disappointing window so far and disappointing start to this stage.
Yeah.
There's a cause for concern here for Australians, for Graham Arnold, for the players. Not ideal, man. The performance that we saw from them over 2 matches. What grade does Saltero give them?
No, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed, dude. This is a C for Australia, man. 1 point out of 2 matches, and you're supposed to be, what, top 2 side in Asia? It's super disappointing. And yes, Bahrain played great. Indonesia played great against them, but you're Australia. You're supposed to dominate these matches. Maybe you get a little tripped up against Bahrain, but you got to fix it in this next match, and they couldn't. I will say Graham Arnold set out his team to be more offensive. We criticized them in that game against Bahrain that they're way too conservative. He did fix that. He started from the get-go, Irankunda and Samuel Silvera. I thought they were both very, very good, at least in shape and going forward. But one thing that became very apparent in this match, Bran, is Australia don't have any finishers. None.
Dude, that's exactly what I was noticing, is they lack that killer threat, that killer up top. I was thinking, imagine if international football was like club football and you could buy a player, right? What would the transfer value be on bringing back prime Tim Cahill? How much would they pay, bro?
Oh, yeah.
150 mil?
Exactly.
200 mil?
No.
It's the player that they need up top, and they have no semblance of that whatsoever, which is why we've seen 0 goals over 2 matches.
Yes, it's terrible. And then I also look at players like Matthew Leckie, who are so direct, so dangerous on the wing, and they just don't have it anymore. A really interesting player is Irankunda, right? He's signed with Bayern Munich right now. He's very young, but he's so raw. He's so raw. His talent needs to be honed in for many more years before he becomes an effective forward. And then you look at players like Mitchell Duke. I mean, let's be honest, he's never been, an exciting forward. He's a scrapper at best, and he's a good scrapper. Do not get me wrong, but if you need him to score a goal every other game, it's just not going to happen. So you already have your 2 forwards are ineffective. Craig Goodwin, it can be good, but he's just inconsistent. I thought he had the best chance of the match. Around the 30th minute, he was wide open on the left-hand side. He gets the ball, but his touches were ineffective. They were inefficient. He didn't set himself correctly, and he was forced to just shoot it straight at the keeper. But if he had gotten way more proactive touches, he would have had a free shot on goal, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. But he didn't, and that's going to be Australia going forward, man. Like, they're going to get really good positions. They're going to create a lot of chances, but I don't think they're going to have anybody to finish them.
And that's how the game ends, with Indonesia tying Australia 0-0.
Oke, sahabat-sahabat Garuda, bagaimana tanggapan kalian? Saya rasa cukup untuk video kali ini. Informasinya sungguh sangat menarik dan cukup luar biasa. Bagaimana euforia dari timnas Indonesia yang berhasil menjadi kuda hitam di 2 pertandingan di babak ketiga kualifikasi Piala Dunia 2026 zona Asia. Dan tentunya semoga timnas Indonesia itu bisa lolos ke Piala Dunia, dan kita akan merasakan bahwa bagaimana rasanya timnas Indonesia itu berada di pentas bola hajatan dunia. Sahabat-sahabat Garuda, kita terus berdoa, yang di rumah dan juga yang sedang beraktivitas, semoga timnas Indonesia tersemogakan dengan apa yang diharapkan oleh kita. sebagai para supporter rakyat Indonesia, bagaimana kita sudah menikmati pertandingan tadi malam di kandang kita di Senayan Jakarta di GBK, bahwa timnas Indonesia berhasil menahan gemburan-gemburan dengan kesulitan lini pertahanan timnas Indonesia, lebih khususnya Martin Paes yang cukup menjaga gawangnya dengan baik dari yang tidak mudah terkecoh dari serangan-serangan balik ataupun dari tiki-taka dari para pemain Australia itu sendiri. Dan kerap kali Martin Paes selalu memberikan permainan yang sangat cantik, sahabat-sahabat. Dan sahabat-sahabat Garuda, bagaimana tanggapan kalian? Silahkan ditulis di kolom komentar. Jangan lupa like video ini, di subscribe channel ini agar kalian tidak ketinggalan informasi penting khususnya timnas Indonesia. Salam sepak bola keren, salam sepak bola bersih. Bersama Pak Erick Thohir, timnas Indonesia terus mendunia dan Garuda terbang tinggi. Bersama saya, salam olahraga.